Number 1. Leadership. Brian Chesky is a 39-year-old Silicon Valley startup CEO that founded Airbnb in 2008. He and his roommate had the simple idea of putting an air mattress in their living room to provide a place to stay for people attending a sold-out convention.
So I actually can't pay rent. It turns out that weekend, this international design conference is coming to San Francisco. We go to the conference website. All of the hotels in the conference website are sold out. And so we had this idea. We said, well, what if we just turned our house into a bed and breakfast for the design conference? Unfortunately, I didn't have any beds, but Joe had 3 airbeds. We pulled the airbeds out of the closet. We inflated the 3 airbeds. We called it the Airbed and Breakfast. Yeah. Yeah. I love that noise.
Brian has been with the company since day one and is focused on the long-term goals of the company and not the short-term financials. A company's most important asset isn't on their balance sheet, it's who's in the boardroom. He and his team even sold cereal to make ends meet in the early days of the company.
And then we didn't make a lot of money with airbeds, so we thought, well, if we can't sell money with airbeds, we're airbed and breakfast. Let's go into the breakfast business. So we took a weird detour, and we ended up making collectible breakfast cereal, Barack Obama-themed breakfast cereal for the Democratic National Convention. We took Cheerios, we called it Obama-O's, the breakfast of change, and we had a John McCain-themed cereal, Captain McCain's, a Maverick in every bite, and we basically handmade like cereal box in our living room in 2008, made $30,000 selling collectible breakfast cereal, and this is actually how we funded the company.
Brian has the customers and business in mind when making decisions and will continue to be invaluable to the company for years to come. Number 2, ethics. I only invest in companies that I want to do well. If Airbnb succeeds in growing their business tenfold, is the world a better place? In my opinion, yes it is. I've used Airbnb about a dozen times and it has allowed me to travel to more places and meet more people for less money than staying in a hotel. And the money that I spend goes towards regular people looking to rent out their homes instead of some faceless hotel megacorporation. When Airbnb does well, the quality of my life increases and so does the quality of the hosts' lives. The incentives are aligned. On a side note, this is why you will never find me investing in a fossil fuel or tobacco company. When these companies do well, people suffer. Even if I can make ludicrous amounts of money selling death sticks to teenagers, I will refuse every time. And I'm not some self-righteous do-gooder either. I just want to be able to sleep at night when I turn off the lights. Number 3, the business model. Airbnb is essentially a SaaS company or a software as a service company. Actually purchasing the space, hosting guests, and cleaning the rooms is left to the property owners. Airbnb takes a cut of that for linking the guests to the hosts and then gets out of the way. Software as a service is a fantastic business model. Just look at the most valuable companies in the world. It's a who's who of software companies. And sure, these companies usually have some physical products they sell, but the computer science is what is driving the margins. Which leads me to my next point. The margins of a software as a service company are phenomenal. Since they don't have to put up the capital themselves, every dollar that they make in revenue more readily flows to the bottom line. When your main export is software, you can reap thick margins and scale up more quickly. Number 4, branding. Airbnb has a great brand that is associated with travel, experience, frugality, and entrepreneurship, all of which are music to my ears. They even have a fantastic logo which is easily recognizable and unmistakable. While Airbnb does have competition, which I will explore in a separate video, they are very clearly the market leader in this segment. And typically when a software company gains a market lead, they get most of the pie. Think Google Search, Amazon Web Services, Windows, Android, and Facebook. Once you're locked into a system, you tend to stay around. You'll get more customers if you use Airbnb, so more people will sign up to host. And since there are more options at better prices, travelers go to Airbnb first. It's a flywheel cycle that is difficult, if not impossible, to break. Number 5, the hospitality market and future trends. The hotel and tourism market is gargantuan, $600 billion to $2 trillion depending on who you ask and who runs the numbers. At a market cap of only $30 billion, Airbnb has plenty of room to grow. And since we're hopefully going to put this pandemic to rest in the next year, tourism will absolutely surge. I consider buying Airbnb at this valuation to be a bargain. I'll talk more about how I value the company long term, but this is like buying a buy one, get 9 free deal if you're willing to hold on to the stock for a decade. I also anticipate the growing minimalism and experience movements to continue to gain traction. It seems like millennials and Gen Zs are more interested in seeing what this incredible speck of dust suspended in a sunbeam has to offer than buying the next handbag or crappy souvenir. And since the cost of travel is shrinking due to Airbnb, it only increases the size of the market further. Airbnb is by no means a perfect company, and that is front and center with the recent health crisis and lockdowns. In a future video, I will discuss the risks that come with investing in a single company and what can go wrong with Airbnb. Stock investing is not for the faint of heart, and you better be prepared to lose everything if shit goes south. This is Airbnb Invest, and I hope you all become incredibly wealthy.